Hey Joe, so to be down 17-0 and to have this result in your home opener, what does it say about your guys, and what are your thoughts about the way you guys were able to respond?
That's certainly a excuse me, less than ideal way to start the start the home season. Uh, just about everything that could go wrong in the first, whatever it was, 8 or 9 minutes of that game, really going into the first quarter, went wrong. First drive score on defense, special teams miscue, a 3 and out on offense, and I think we've talked a bunch in this room to the guys about there being a different feeling around the team, and I'm not quite sure the past 2 years, if we find ourselves in that position, that there wouldn't have been finger pointing, arguing, bad body language, and an inability to dig ourselves out of the hole and fight adversity. And it was actually the opposite of that. Kids stayed calm and composed. We made adjustments, got stops on defense, cleaned up the special teams, and started moving the ball in an explosive manner on offense. So that was my observations from the first half.
And how instrumental was Ben Finley in you guys being able to respond? What do you think of his night overall?
Yeah, Ben's. Certainly we got a ton to clean up across the board in all three phases. Players and coaches, but he's playing like he practices. He has a tremendous level of preparation, so he knows what we're doing. He's still relatively green in terms of game experience. From NC State and Cal, it's been really more spot duty. But now that he's just the undisputed starter, he's a team captain, and it's kind of his show. We're continuing to see on a weekly basis more and more flashes of explosiveness and consistency. I thought in the second half we struggled to protect him a little bit, and he didn't stay in the pocket particularly well. Not all of them were clean, but we got to do a good job across the board, protecting him better, right? Line, running backs, tight ends when they're in protection. He's got to do a better job trusting the protection, because for as many throws as we had and we hit downfield, I think we had, a bunch more open that for whatever reason, the protection, the read, the throw, we weren't able to. But 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, that's a pretty good day at the office.
Talk about his connection with Adrian Norton tonight and Bobby Golden.
Yeah, I think 200-yard receivers. I'm not sure when the last time that's happened, so that's a positive, and a 300-yard passer. Thank you. We're not sponsored by whatever the hell this is, but it's quite refreshing. Maybe we should get a sponsorship, get our NIL money up above zero. But yeah, when we recruited Adrian and Bobby, it's kind of old school recruiting, like high school guys that really didn't have a ton going on in the process that we brought in. Red shirt, a little bit of a little bit of time as young guys, and now seeing a more prominent role. But both of those, Coach Brookhart does a great job with that room, and they're definitely playing well, and have a ton of room to improve.
Talk about his mentality. I mean, starting down 17-0, he took a big hit that knocked him out for a play, and he was able to come back, and each time he came back, he was able to perform at a high level. He led you guys 31 straight unanswered points or something like that.
Yeah, and he didn't do it by himself, but he was certainly instrumental. So I thought, Colgate was a very aggressive defense. I think at a certain point in the second half, they pressured on 25 out of 30 snaps. But like I said, when you're struggling, it's hard to call any great run plays against that much pressure, because there's too many people at the box. So you got to find a way to beat it, and that's by throwing it. So, he got the ball out to his playmakers. We protected well enough, and said found a way to convert some key third downs and push the ball down the field.
You talked about it a little bit already, but what do the abilities of Golden and Norton bring to your offense?
Yeah, that level of explosiveness that I think we've lacked the past 2 years on offense. Year one, I think we threw for roughly 300 a game, but a lot of it was, shorter and intermediate stuff. We really didn't push the ball down the field. And now as I've gone back to completely taking over the offense and kind of calling a thing, one of the big areas of focus is our ability to create explosive plays in the run game and the pass game, and those two guys have done that well.
Talk about CJ and Darian on defense tonight. I mean, Darian had 12 tackles, and CJ had that huge sack. I think they both found themselves in huge positions all night tonight.
Yeah, me being an offensive head coach and spending a bunch of time on that side of the ball, requires a lot of my attention. And I think I say we, probably don't talk enough about the job that our defense did today. Coach Tibesar has a lot of autonomy because I spent a lot of my time with the offense. And I think outside of, the first quarter, we really settled in there. We're able to contain a very dynamic running quarterback. Got a bunch of key third down stops. And like you said, had a bunch of guys with good individual performances. So, if we're able to kind of bottle some of the things that we did well in all three phases and see that on a more consistent basis, I think we'll be a team that can be, pretty damn competitive when we get out of this money game phase and, get into the MAC schedule.
Joe, how crucial was Darian Lewis's interception there along your sideline?
Yeah, they were driving. I think we were in a single high coverage, and they tried to throw that thing over the top and, drove off the post and picked that thing off, stayed in bounce, and it was a huge momentum swing, and so instead of them driving down and, 3 or 7, it's a swing back in the Zips direction. So, definitely a great play by D-Lou.
Complimentary football there was after that, Finley to Golden for the 56-yard touchdown. What can you tell us about that play? What did you see on it?
Yeah, we really it's a multi-purpose. It's double post to the field and then a big over route to the boundary. And if we get any kind of zone, we're going big post to the over and then down like a flood concept. And they actually, you read the safety to that side. So their single high safety jumped down on the inside post. Bobby got leverage and got over the top. Trusted the protection and stepped up into the pocket and, really threw, as good a ball as we've seen since I've been here.
Talk about having to plan for 2 different quarterbacks who split the snaps tonight.
Say that one time.
Talk about having to adjust for 2 different quarterbacks who had split the snaps tonight
for Colgate or for us?
Yeah, for Colgate.
Yeah, they is just kind of the trend that you're seeing in the NFL and college now. These 2 quarterback systems. Kind of been doing that since 2016, but it really creates a unique challenge for a defense because you never know where the second guy's going to align, and really don't know where the first guy's going to align. So, they could get you in a bunch of, formational mismatches. And what it does, it really vanillas up your call sheet because you got to have a call that matches up to any way they line up. So this whole deal that offensive coaches got going with this 2 QB thing, you lose a little bit of your, a little bit of the traditional run game, but you make up for that with, where you could place those guys all across the field.
Paul Lewis is a guy who's just all over the place too.
Yeah.
He had a TFL for that turnover on downs before you guys hit the 18-yard touchdown to Norton. Again, that was like essentially a turnover and then a touchdown off it. What can you tell us about Paul Lewis and what he means to the defense?
Obviously, a super smart kid. You have your degree from Cornell, an Ivy League school, and I think that's one of the neat things about playing in that league, that you graduate in 4, you have a year of eligibility left, and Paul jumped in the portal, and got a bunch of positive reviews from him, and you win with guys like that, guys who are smart, guys who are tough, guys who prepare well, and are in the right spot at the right time, and he doesn't make a ton of flashy plays, but he's not going to do anything to get you beat either.
We didn't talk about your tight end, Jake Newell, and also the running back, Charles Kellum, had a lot of significant plays. What did each of those guys kind of bring for you in this one?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Jake Jake came into the game with 6 for 59. I think he probably had a couple today. He is an improved blocker. He needs to add weight and strength. But another guy who, I knew from Oregon, my youngest son and Jake, not on the same team, but played for the same 7-on-7 organization out there. We recruited him a little bit when I was at Oregon, ended up going to Arizona State. And, from what I remember him, big, tall kid, super athletic. His dad's a coach at the high school. So the kind of kid you were getting. And, that's what happens. When we get these kids from the portal, they go to Power 5 schools, and you can only play so many people. And, we've been a beneficiary of getting kids who have gone to bigger schools and, haven't had the opportunity that maybe they envisioned. And quite frankly, the good ones we got have been from relationships. Very rarely do we go in and dip in and grab a guy that we kind of get out of the blue. But yeah, Jake's got a high upside and, is improving across the board. And, as you mentioned, the running backs, I don't know. I got to go back and look at a film, but I'm not sure if I got away from the run too much in the second half. But yeah, they were doing some things from a pressure standpoint that, that make it tough. But yeah, I would have loved to have gotten Kellum and Jordan more traditional carries. But they were bringing the house just about every play. So, you don't want to hand the ball off into an unblocked player. That's not ideal.
Garrison Smith, 4 for 4 on extra points, 1 for 1 on his only field goal attempt today. Talk about the importance of having a reliable kicker.
Yeah, if you've been here the past 2 years, you've seen what not having we haven't kicked field goals well. So I think he's missed 1 so far this year. He's drained 2 of 45 or more. He's hit 100% on PATs, and it's a comforting feeling as a play caller knowing when you pass a certain point on the field, that the kicker's going to come in and put it through the uprights. And unfortunately, we had and that's one thing I said to the guys afterwards. We had 4 penalties for 55, but a lot of them were of an undisciplined nature that I don't want this team to be with which I want this team to be associated. So Jake spun the ball and they threw the flag. I was watching games up until we left from the hotel, and I saw 20 guys spin the ball and do dances and not get called. So I communicated to the ref that I thought that was nonsense. But whatever that last choreographed thing was at the end, and then the couple late hits, that's nonsense. And obviously I haven't done a good enough job as a head coach emphasizing the importance of avoiding post-snap emotional penalties and displays of individuality over team celebration. So I got to point the first 2 thumbs at me. Not good enough, and we'll make sure we get that cleaned up moving forward.
Hey, Joe, just in terms of big picture, when you open the season against 2 Big Ten teams, you come here, right, and this is a game that you did you feel like you had to get this to show the improvement that you want to show this season?
Do I feel we needed to get it? Yeah, I feel we need to get every game, and I know that there's a level of realism that you need to take as a head coach in a program going into 3 games that are going to fund a department. But we're not going to back down and roll over. But at the same time, you kind of know what you're getting into, and certainly the juxtaposition of an FCS game with 3 games on the schedule that yes, I won't say it's a must-win. Every game's a must-win, but relatively speaking, compared to the other 3 out-of-conference games, yeah, you got to get this one. And looking back, year 1 overtime against St. Francis, we need to pick in the end zone to win it. And last year, a damn miracle we pulled off against Morgan State, or that would have been a loss. So we're, if you're looking for kind of signs of progress, we got down big, we battled back, and we held our own, and we won a college football game, which has been hard to do around here.
Talk about starting with 2 games like he said, and then you got South Carolina next week. But for your guys to play upper teams like this, it's gonna be a lot harder. Just talk about the importance and the progression of these guys and the growth it gives these people to have a chance.
Yeah. There were stints of the Ohio State game where we moved the ball and we actually, got some points on the board and had some stuff. At the end of the day, you know what you're getting into when you play those games. I've been on both sides of them, so I know how that goes. But for as much as you say, you never say those games don't matter, but you understand the difficulty of competing. They're 18 to 21-year-old kids, and as much as you say, all right, we're just going to go in and compete and fight our butts off, at the end of the day, 2 losses is 2 losses, no matter whether it's against the number 2 team in the country or whomever it's against. So I don't think you can underestimate, for a team that hasn't won and you're trying to build a culture of belief, the mental and physical toll that is created upon your guys having to go into a game where the ESPN predictor is like 99.9 to 0.01. It's not great, but we're not, like I said, we're not going to back down. We're going to keep swinging. But yeah, you can't underestimate, the toll that takes on your team when we're trying to get this program built and turned around. So it's good to, have a game where maybe they're on the other side of that coin.
Talk about what you do to keep that mentality up within this team. I mean, like you said, when they see 99.9 to 0.01%, I mean, that's a huge knock to these guys. But these guys still have to have some confidence and like maybe an excitement of like, oh, we could do this possibly.
Yeah, when I say it's not a knock, it's reality. So it's like it's not a negative; it's just the truth. But at the end of the day, we talk about controlling what we can control, and it's not who we play. It's not the environment. It's not their fans. It's not how much money of NIL they spent to build the roster. We control how well we prepare. We can control our level of preparation and practice. We control how hard we play and how well we execute. And talk about making daily deposits in games like that. That you may not put the ATM card in the thing and be able to pull out money right away, but you stack those things up across 3 games, and you get to a game like this or a game where the competitive balance is, more even. Then you can fall back on some of those experiences if you still got enough healthy guys.
Last question for Coach.
Alex Adams did not play tonight.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
any update on his condition?
Yeah, it's still lower body. I mean, he tried to practice this week, and unfortunately, what up, D-Lou? No, you're good. And unfortunately, in 2-minute drill on the second last play, 2-minute drill on Thursday, he got dinged up again. So I feel. I mean, I've known Alex since like 2018 when I recruited him down there and signed him. Then he decommitted and went to LSU. But, obviously all-league player his first year here, and he's fighting his tail off to try to get healthy. But, he and I met in the office after Friday's practice, and, we both agreed that, it ain't we're not going to put him on the field when it's he's not healthy, because it doesn't help. It doesn't benefit him, and it doesn't benefit our team, and he understood that. So he's working hard with rehab. We're trying to get him healthy, but I don't want to put him on the field until he's going to give us a chance to win and give himself a chance to succeed.